Okay, so I watched the movie Zardoz, and I wanted to talk about my thoughts about it. I'd never seen this movie before. It's the movie with Sean Connery running around in a red leather bikini with ammunition belts and knee-high boots, because that's the kind of future that we want, goddammit. This movie is the dystopian future that we live in many ways. We're building it. We're building up to Zardoz rapidly. And like that's the worry that I have after watching this fucking movie is basically that we're going to make a computer that controls everything to the point that it doesn't matter if there's a God or not. It's kind of terrifying. In Zardoz, there's a group of advanced humans that call themselves Eternals, that basically what they did was they all linked together in a fucking crystal or whatever, like copies of their minds, so that if they ever die or anything happens, a new copy of them gets born with all of their old memories, because their memory is actually stored on a computer that's inside a crystal that's in a library someplace or some shit. You know? And in order to feed some of the Eternals that have gone apathetic, they have to have, slave labor, basically. And this is where Sean Connery's guys come in that they kill for Zardoz. My favorite line in the movie is, "The penis is evil, the gun is good." Welcome to the dystopian future of 2023. When they gather up all of these fucking subhuman people though and force them to farm, they grow grain, and this grain is put in a giant stone head that then gives them guns and ammunition to reign over they call them the brutals, the regular people. It's fucking crazy. And there's a Merlin figure that is Arthur Frame that thinks that he's doing things of his own accord, but basically it's Zardoz forcing him to do shit. There's an intelligence born of all of these people's collected intelligences that has manipulated them all. So in trying to make a false god, they got taken over by the real god, basically. They were playing a game pretending to be gods, with Zardoz being the Wizard of Oz, and ended up getting played themselves, because they ended up in this fucked up future. The Eternals are the future of mankind, and no one ever dies, but they punish you by adding years to your life. So you get older. And that's insanity. That's what I could see happening though. This is so fucking on point. It's not even funny. If you want a glimpse into our future, go watch the movie Zardoz, I guess. That and I would watch this, and then I would go watch the Rick and Morty episode that's based off of this. Because, I had seen the Rick and Morty episode before I had seen Zardoz. And I always thought that the Rick and Morty episode was interestingly, poignant about various things. But, it being based on this heady John Borman movie from the 70s makes sense. Especially given, the world that was around at that time. Several of his predictions that he made, that, there being apathetics, that need to be fed. These are the dependents on Social Security that, don't make their own food anymore. And, like, this is why, so many people have to keep working. I view that as, like, clearly the apathetics are those in socialism who do not produce. The consumers. It's like they're all just like, they stand around like dead people waiting to be handed bread. And then, you have the old people that, I think I would be one of the old people in this fucking, like, narrative. Because, like, whatever punishment that the state was giving out, I'd be in the punished group. I am in the punished group. So, they were called renegades because eventually they just got so old and so crazy that no one wanted to hang with them anymore except all the other old crazy people. So there's like a retirement home of like fucked up people that they throw bread at too. And these are like the other group of dependents. These are the, the true scum of society that, is a renegade, a brigand, a criminal, what have you. The retirement home is a prison there. They banish you there. What else? Oh, the main character, Sean Connery, is Zed, the leader of the exterminators. They kill for Zardoz. I love it. I love this movie. And the red shit that he's wearing, the like red leather bikini and knee-high boots and like ammo belts, has a helmet that goes with it that looks like the Stonehead. And, he has many, many men that follow him that all dress like that. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me. Although I will say, if his ammunition belt was filled with 455 Ely for his pistol, that actually would be a pretty badass setup, because he's got a lot of fucking rounds of 455 Ely on that belt. However, it looks like in the movie they like have 303 British in those ammunition belts. Which makes sense. I mean, they're in Ireland when they're filming this, so okay. But, like, his main gun that he carries in the movie is a Webley Fosbury in 455 Ely, which is a cool gun. And, like, this movie is one of the few that really features it heavily. It's the gun of this movie. The Webley Fosbury, for those not in the know, is the semi-automatic revolver. Has a sliding mechanism on the top that recocks the hammer with each shot. Which really, if you think about it, is a pretty obvious thing to do. I mean, there's a lot of force being generated by the firing of the revolver. We've seen how a 1911 slide works. Why not make the fucking hammer on your double-action revolver recock every time? You have the power to do it. However, it's like one of those things like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, the regular Webley is really the true way, in my opinion. Like, a good double-action revolver is just it's much superior, in my opinion. More reliable, too. Anywho, Zed thinks he's dead at the start of this movie, and I think Zed is dead. As close to dead as you can get somehow. Like, I wonder how much of this is like Zed died in the battlefield somewhere, and like this is his experience of heaven. because it's whatever he wants it to be. You know. Oh, and Zed has mental powers because he's been selectively bred by generations and generations of exterminators and brutals, and all this has been going on for a long time. The year is 2293, so they selectively bred Zed to be their destroyer because he's a new type of man with psychic powers and whatever, and like can lord over them. He takes the hottest one of the women and saves her from death and whatever, and has a son with her. And then they all kind of grow old together in this cave while we watch at the end of the movie. And then the last thing you see is a rested Webley Fosbury hanging on a wall. I don't know if I would buy this movie, but I would figure out a way to rent it. I think you can rent it on YouTube. You should definitely watch it. And yeah, maybe it is worth buying because you should probably watch it more than once. And renting versus buying isn't that big of a price difference, especially if you have to rent it twice. If you're ever going to rent something twice, just buy it. It's my philosophy. It was a crazy movie, man. Also, I will add that there are vast sections of this that are done through interpretive dance, which just sums up so much of the vibe of this thing. There were moments where I was really fucking baked watching this and going, man, I'm gonna turn this off and watch something else. That's an interesting thing to happen in the middle of a movie that's so interesting. You know, oh, and now 5 minutes of interpretive dance. And it's all like, anyway, Sean Connery is Zed, and Zed kills for Zardoz. Go watch it and tell me what you think in the comments. I'm gonna probably do another video on this talking about my thoughts on its religious implications because, fuck, man. It is kind of a trippy movie in that Zed is questing to kill God. And he kills several gods along the way. So it turns out there are many false gods before you get to the real one. That's probably just true. There's always there's always a bigger fish kind of thing. And I think if you did go and kill God or your God, you'd find that there was another one to take his place. And so on until the ending of the world. See you guys later.